Hello everyone, and welcome to another Monster Hunter Real video. This is Thegameconomist, and today we're taking a look at using a Gunlance against Kulve Taroth. This is Arch Tempered Kulve Taroth, and the build is very affordable. There's different styles I can go with when I choose to put a build together. I can go with the very optimized meta build using the best weapons, or I can pick a weapon that I believe most of you guys have access to and armor that I believe most of you guys have access to. So this is an accessibility build, essentially, right? And there are ways to improve it. Namely, you would pick out a Gunlance that's higher rank than the one I chose. I chose a rarity 6 Kulve Taroth Gunlance, and but you'll see that I'm fairly effective with it anyways, and that's the important part. Now, I'll be fair with you guys. If you wanted the best build against Arch Tempered Kulve Taroth, obviously it's going to be a light bowgun or heavy bowgun. They just do extremely well against her thanks to thunder ammo, and then in stage 4 thanks to the ailment ammos and sticky ammo and slice ammo. You know, the bowguns are just they're really hard to beat for this. So if you're having trouble with her, you probably don't want to start with the Gunlance. But if you've been doing if you've been doing this for a while and you're tired of using a light bowgun, you're tired of using a heavy bowgun like I am, maybe it's time to try something new. And I think that the Gunlance does really well. So we're in stage 2 of the fight. You saw me earlier. The build actually has heavy artillery on it, which means you can, if you don't want to operate the cannons, you can drop heavy artillery in favor of something like bomber. You could give your build more iron wall decorations, health. I think health boost is already on it. You could give it the protection decorations, right? That would give you divine blessing. So there's different ways to edit the build the way you want it. Really, what's more important is kind of watching what's going on here. You'll see that I'm moving between different parts of her body, and most of my damage is actually going to come from shelling. So let's take a look and see what I'm doing. So it looks like the left side of Kulve Taroth's body is already pretty beaten up. You're going to see a few frame rates drop here and there. That's because this is actually a live stream, and the people I'm playing with are from my Discord, which, by the way, you're welcome to join that. I always have a link in the description. It's a very, very active Discord. Feel free to do that. You can see she's digging there. I almost died from that. Her dig does a lot of damage if you happen to run into it. Notice I did have a max potion ready. You should be bringing max potions all of the time. It should be part of your permanent loadout. And here you see me kind of trying to do I'm trying to get a full combo out on Arch Tempered Kulve Taroth because she was coming back out of that dig. There's the Wyvern Fire. You want to make sure you keep that on recharge, meaning every time it's available, you want to use it, and then therefore it's always recharging, and you're really getting the most out of it. You know what I mean? Like if you sit on it, you're not going to get to use it as many times throughout the fight, and it's really a nice move. It's my favorite part about the Gunlances. So there's a wide sweep into the Wyvern Stake, which missed. And she is digging again already. Man, I have some really decent teammates with me right here. And we're setting up Mega Barrel Bombs on her since she's digging. I'm going to go ahead and craft more Mega Barrel Bombs. You know, I have a Kulve Taroth item loadout. I should probably show that off. Maybe I'll make a video on that or something. But yeah, because she's really a monster where you benefit from being able to build a crazy number of Mega Barrel Bombs. If you couldn't build Mega Barrel Bombs, you'd have a much harder time against her. She's this difficult monster where it's not just enough to like be able to live through her attacks. You really need to be able to do enough damage. That's a big concern, right? Because she has a timer. If you don't do enough damage, she leaves. That's a big problem. So you need to be able to survive, but also to do great damage. And you saw us, we made her dig like 3 times there, so naturally she's going to move off to the next stage. I don't remember what pursuit level this is. I've had a lot of runs. I've had some runs at pursuit level 3, 4, 5, 6, they all kind of start to blend together after a while. Okay, we're in stage 3, and of course, naturally what I want to do is drop this boulder on her head. She doesn't want to cooperate. She's got that laser beam attack. It's very easy to dodge if you know she's aiming at you. It's pretty easy to dodge that. You can see I almost dropped the boulder on her head. I really wanted to. It was very tempting, but you've really got to make sure she's under it. I know some of you are going to drop that boulder and miss. I've missed many times. You don't want to miss. You want to take your time. It's very valuable dropping it on her, so you want to take your time. Usually when I miss, it's because I was too excited. I didn't take my time. Alright, and she dropped in a nice location. Her head's very accessible here. I'm going to be doing my full combo, right? Full burst with the shelling into the wide sweep and the wyvern stake. There we go. There's a reload. I'm going to go ahead and get my wyvern fire out. Lots of damage there. That's a lot of damage. Okay, and she's back to fighting. One of the nice things about using a Gunlance, oops, I didn't mean to bring my map up there. One of the nice things about using it here is just being able to guard. Kulve Taroth has some really large sweeping melee attacks, and being able to pull your Gunlance shield up and not have to worry about that is kind of a convenience, you know what I mean? Like with other weapons, you'd have to be getting ready to outspace her or dodge, like especially when she does her big barrel roll. You got to look for that little part that rotates across her body where you can run under her safely. You got to watch for that. With the Gunlance, it's easy. You just guard. Same with the Lance, by the way, and I do have a Lance build as well. Maybe I'll make a video on that shortly in the future. It's not bad. Actually, I have the Khajar Lightning, I'm sorry, the Khajar Thunder Lance, and I could make a video on that as well. Alright, so I'm kind of by myself. There's one other player down here. I figured, hey, I've got some spare barrel bombs. I might as well get a little extra damage on her. And here's where you really have to be careful with the Lance. I feel like when you're in stages 2 and 3 and you're really trying to damage her mantle, and even stage 1, it's very, very easy to get damage out with the Gunlance. Here's a bit trickier. You're really just trying to hit her on the horns, right? And, look at that. Wyvern stake missed. You're really just trying to hit her in the horns, which means you're going to be aiming for her chin a lot. It's very similar if you're using the lance, the hammer, you know, all of the melee blade weapons where you're going to have to be good at using the actual weapon because the rest of her body doesn't matter. Maybe her tail, right? If you haven't broken her tail, the tail matters, obviously. Like right there, that's a good time to look at the tail. But she's moving it away. Oh, and the shells missed. That's too bad. That's because her tail magically went under the ground. Okay, and somebody died there. I didn't even see. That's her new move that she gets for being Arch Tempered. It's kind of interesting. It's very similar to the beam that Arch Tempered Zenashiva uses, the beam that Arch Tempered Valhazak uses, but the difference is it actually has a limited range, then it puts down pools of fire that do very high damage and very high stamina damage. Alright, so we're back in the fight. Notice I'm doing a little bit more damage to her while she's falling asleep. That's really valuable if you can do that, but be careful not to wake her up. Obviously, being able to bomb her horns is very important for Arch Tempered Kulve Taroth. If you're a new player and you wake her up by accident, you really did a big oopsie for your team. And since I have my Wyvern Fire ready, I'm going to be using that to wake her up. Here we are. You don't want to take too much time because she wakes up on her own pretty quickly. And now I like to use, the approach that you have with this weapon where you kind of scoop your weapon forward and point upward. I can't remember the name of that. It's some sort of upward thrust. I like to use that approach a lot in order to point the Gunlance upward and then I shell right into her face. That's going to be her. It's kind of like a shoulder charge, except she uses her actual head. Maybe you call that like a headbutt or a tackle or something. So what would you call that, I wonder? Ram attack? Yeah, it's kind of like ram. Somebody trying to ram you. That's the Kulve Taroth ramming attack. You can see somebody using the insect glaive over there, probably going to try and get a mount in stage 4. I don't like that move she's using right there, where she just covers the whole floor in lava in a big line. That gets me all the time. That actually kills me all the time. There's her laser beam attack. You can see I'm just kind of chilling back. I'm not too worried. She just got paralyzed. This is a great time to do damage. You know, and I'm alive. If you had died, you wouldn't be there to take advantage of the paralysis. So, once again, if you're going to be fighting Arch Tempered Kulve Taroth, you need to be able to stay alive, but you also need to be able to do a lot of damage when the opportunity arises, right? Somebody was able to paralyze her, and so everybody on the team needs to really just be able to do tons of damage. Alright, she's been mounted now. Yeah, so I'm not really going to be able to mount Arch Tempered Kulve Taroth. I can't paralyze her. Well, I suppose it depends on what Gunlance you're using. There's probably a Gunlance you can use to put her to sleep, to paralyze her. But my job, since I'm not doing that, my job is to get a lot of damage on her horns. Ooh, and I am taking some heavy damage there. Max potion. Yeah, you gotta have your consumables ready, guys. Be sure you're ready for this fight. It's a long fight, you gotta fight her like 2 times, 3 times in order to get those rewards. Coming prepared makes a big difference. So she's on the ground. I'm not going to miss the Wyvern Stake. When you're using a wide shelling Gunlance, if you can land the Wyvern Stake reliably, you want to land the Wyvern Stake because it just does more damage. Alright, she's been KO'd as well. That's definitely somebody using sticky ammos. Why the bow guns are so valuable for this game mode. I just used my burst shelling. I'm getting tons of damage out for the team. And this is all with a rarity 6 Gunlance that you get from Kulve Taroth. Everyone should be able to access this. Oh, look at this. This was an interesting moment right there. That's her new punch. There's a few monsters that have that attack. Notice she drained all of my stamina and did a ton of damage. Lucky for me, I was wearing the Rocksteady Mantle, so it didn't kill me. I've never actually tried to block that move before, so I didn't know what to expect. And yeah, it just cuts right through your stamina. You have to be careful with that move. So will that fire, by the way, that lava. If you try to guard that, it will cut right through your stamina. You really have to be careful. Alright. She's so aggressive. Oh, she's trying to get me with that laser beam. She's trying to do it again. She does that now. She does 2 of them in a row. So we have the Temporal Mantle. That's going to allow us to play a lot more aggressively. Kind of chill by her horns a lot more. So really, you got to take the most advantage of your gear in this stage 4 as you can. You know, you can't let any of it go to waste. Once again, you'll see I'm using that upward thrust approach, and then I'm going right into a shelling. More lava. Temporal Mantle will not protect you from that, by the way. Temporal Mantle, it won't make you flip, so if you're standing in the middle of that, you will die to her lava. She is just using the heck out of that move. Yeah, there it is. You can see on my screen, but I only took 1 tick of damage, and that's because I got out of the way. You know, you can do that. You can try to guard it, but even guarding it is dangerous. In this case, I have Iron Wall, 3 levels of Iron Wall. Actually, it's called Guard, isn't it? Iron Wall is the name of the decoration. I have 3 levels of that, and that would have helped me guard her lava, but I'm so used to not having the Iron Wall with me that I just went ahead and I sheathed the weapon and ran away from the lava. That's your other option. And there her horns go. Very good. Yeah, so you could see, well, here, let's go ahead and take a look at the build. Yeah, Health Boost, Part Breaker, Artillery, Guard 3, that's optional. Heavy Artillery 2, that's optional. Wide Range comes with the Empress Beta arms. And then we're also getting 2 levels of Divine Blessing, a Capacity Boost, and a Guard Up. And you can see the pieces of armor I've chosen are very accessible to you guys. Everyone should be able to access this sort of build, okay? Alright, well that is my very accessible Gunlance build for fighting Arch Tempered Kulve Taroth. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.